Ladies and gentlemen, this evening's performance of
The Diz Explorers
will begin in 2 minutes. Excellent
listening
locations are still available all around Showcase Promenade. Due to the use of
alcohol and opinions.
around the lagoon, for your safety, we request that you remain on the promenade side of all railings. During the show, please watch your step and take small children firmly by the hand. Once again, this evening's performance of
The Diz Explorers
will begin in just 2 minutes. Thank you.
Too much.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Diz Explorers podcast, where each week we explore the different avenues of the great Disney universe. So this week we got 3 out of 5. Adrianne is still in Walt Disney World as we were recording on this Monday before Christmas, and Melanie has finally sitting down to watch Rogue One. So she is excused from having to record this episode because she's a year too late on that nonsense. So this is the week before Christmas, and we know it's a busy week for everybody, a busy week for us. So we're just going to kind of have a little light episode this week, just going to talk about some of our favorite Christmas movies, both from the Disney company and ones that were not made by the Disney company, because there's tons of great Christmas movies out there. So 3 of us are just going to chat, Jessica, Milford, and myself, about some of our favorite Christmas movies, and then we'll sign off for a couple of weeks. The holidays both fall on a Monday, Christmas and New Year's. So together as a podcast, we're going to take those couple weeks off to enjoy time with our family and those of us that have children that are off from school, and hang out with them. And then we'll be back after the new year with new episodes and new topics and more fun stuff. And we'll hope you'll rejoin us then and enjoy your time away also from not having to listen to us talk. But we like that you do listen to us talk, because that's kind of the whole point. So anyway, because I know Jessica's prepared, I'm going to have her start off with something off of her list. Doesn't have
I'm not Adrianne prepared.
I know. Well, you have a list, so you're winning because I don't.
It just has 5 on it. It's not crazy. Okay. So the first couple, I tried to kind of separate between animated and live action. So I'll start with the animated one. So the first one I would say is the animated How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I just think it's really cute, and it's something that I always watched every year as a kid, so I feel like it's just something I have to watch. Actually, all these animated ones kind of fall into that category. But and I really like the You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch song. It's just so good, I just really like it.
And there's Disney ties to that, because it was Thurl Ravenscroft that sung it.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't
absolutely.
know that.
Yep.
That's extra cool then.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other 2 that I have for animated are The Year Without a Santa Claus.
Yes!
And Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Just because the Heat Miser and Old Miser, my God.
Best
they are
part.
my favorites.
Yes.
I love them.
Oh,
I
man.
just posted that the other night on my Facebook, because
I have a
Miser
Christmas. Go ahead.
Heat Miser is one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
I have a Christmas playlist, and that song is on it every single time.
Yep.
It has to be.
And if you like that, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy did a version of both Heat Miser and Snow Miser together in one song, and it is flippin' fantastic. Like, they do it justice. It's really, really good. So go search that out, Jessica. Yeah, actually, their Christmas album is very, very good. But yeah, look up. I think it goes under the title of Snow Miser, but they do both songs in one song. It's very, very good. Very, very good.
Oh, I really like Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. I'll have to check that out.
They have 2 Christmas albums, and they're both very good. So they're older. They're from whatever early 2000s when they were popular. But yeah, definitely check those out.
There's some. I mean, all of the I can't think of the name of the company, Rankin Bass, that did all of those. They're all good, but there's just something about that one that's just extra awesome, and I think it's those 2 characters.
Yeah, that one's the best out of the group of all of those, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there was like the Baby New Year one that was kind of odd. There you go. Milford's got it queued up.
And this is the Big Bad Voodoo Daddy version.
Yep.
I like it.
It's good. It's very good.
I love their album. And they kind of mix them together.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. And then the last animated one I had was Santa Claus is Coming to Town, just because that was one of my favorites when I was a kid, because you learned that Mrs. Claus's name was Jessica, so I thought that it was the coolest movie ever because I had the same name as Mrs. Claus. So
I'm trying to remember that one. I think I'm trying to remember the animated one.
That's the one where Kris Kringle goes into the village and he meets the...
Oh, yes. But that's kind of...
Meisterburger.
Yeah. That's along the same lines as Rudolph, though. It's that same type of animation. Yeah, okay.
And
I was confused for a second.
Put one foot in front of the other song.
Yes. Now I remember which one you're talking about. Yeah. My mother still watches those movies every year, whether it's with any of the grandkids or by herself. I have all of them on the DVD. I have
them on DVD someplace.
I just never put them on. It just hasn't become a tradition in my house.
Yeah, they're easy to forget. I mean, I think all the copies I have are on VHS, so I have to try to find them online every year.
Yeah, they came out with a collection. It was Frosty, Rudolph, and one other one. But then those other ones are on a DVD as well. The Year Without a Santa Claus, and it might have been Santa Claus is Coming to Town as well with Rudolph and Frosty, I believe. Yeah, it was like a 3-pack. It was like a trifold thing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It was quite a few years ago, I think I got it, but I'm sure you can still find it somewhere.
Cool. Do you guys have any animated ones that come to mind other than those?
Only because recently my kids enjoy them the most, because that's what they'll put on when I bring the Christmas DVDs up, is the Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. It's like a collection of shorts, and it has Mickey's Christmas Carol at the end of it, which is probably my favorite animated one. I just like that one a lot. I'm not super huge on like the traditional Christmas Carol versions, like any live ones. I did like the Jim Carrey one, but the Mickey one is my favorite one. I know there's a Muppets one and a couple other ones, but I think the Disney one was the best one. And then they put out another version of that called Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, or something along those lines, the title. And it was kind of like the new digital animated characters, but the shorts are really good. I like all of those. There's one with Goofy and Max, and Daisy and Minnie have like a skating competition, and another one where Pluto gets lost, or Pluto runs away because Mickey gets mad at him for wrecking the tree. It's kind of like one, and then there's like those, and then there's the original bunch of Disney Christmas ones where it's the same thing, where it's Mickey goes to chop down the tree, and Chip and Dale get in it, and comes in, he brings it in the house, and Pluto's trying to chase them, and he, wrecks everything. So I like both the older ones and the newer ones. And then I like I remember as a kid really liking the Grinch animated one, and not that I don't like it now, but I really, really like the Jim Carrey one. That one is really good. I think it's better than the original animated one. I'll probably get some heat for that, but
I feel like people always have very strong reactions to it. They either just love it or they think it's sacrilegious or something.
I think it's hysterical. Just because Jim Carrey's just fantastic. I mean, he's just good. So he takes it like up one notch, as you will. And then I had A Year Without a Santa Claus as well, because that's from that. I remember as a kid singing those songs constantly, especially Heat Miser and Snow Miser. Definitely loved those part of those movies. I'm sure my mother would probably say that I acted them out as well. And I do enjoy the Santa Claus movies. I know they're not strong, at least not the second and the third ones probably, but I do enjoy watching all of them. The first one is the best one, clearly. But
the Tim Allen movies?
Yes, the Tim Allen ones, yeah. But
I have that on my list too,
yeah,
the first one.
I do like the other two as well. I mean, I won't actively sit and put them on, but if they're on, I'll sit and watch them. But I know that my kids like those. And the running one that's on constantly now, that at least my youngest always wants to watch, and now that they're on DVD, it's easier, is those Prep and Landing ones that have come out in recent years. There's the two major ones they have, and then there's like one little extra short that's on there that has Mrs. Claus, who is voiced by Betty White, so that makes it even better. And those I could recite word for word because I've seen them 1,000 times because of the kids, but I enjoy those. I think those are well done, and I wish they would make a new one every year because I think they're great. And off the top of my head, those are the ones I can think of that I go to. If I
just thought of another one.
Yeah, go for it.
Scrooged.
Oh yes.
But I don't even care about the whole movie. It's really just the beginning.
The beginning, yes.
Yeah. The day the reindeer died.
I like Carol Kane in that movie as the ghost of when is she? Christmas Past, Future, whatever one it is. Yeah, that's a good movie.
The coffin scene scares me even now.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's pretty bad.
Can't watch it.
That one's pretty bad. So what do you got, Milford?
Well, I have to start with an oldie but a goodie. That would be the 1954 version of White Christmas.
Oh.
With Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. And crying out loud, I do think I'd think of the other people that are in it. But Rosemary Clooney and what's her name? Vera Ellen. So It's got a lot of classic. I mean, obviously it's got the classic White Christmas song in it. It's about Bob Wallace and Phil Davis, who were played by Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye, and they were war buddies and basically left the war after World War I, I believe, or World War II, sorry, and became this act in New York, and they happen upon these other two women who are in trouble, and they all decide to go to Vermont, where these two were going to perform for a ski lodge. Well, when they show up at the ski lodge is being run by their old general from the army, and he talks them into staying, and Bing Crosby's character decides to bring their whole show there, and you can draw your own conclusion from that point because it's all good and happy and everything else. So basically they turn it into a benefit for the general, and because his ski lodge is not doing that well because they have not had snow for the whole season so far. From there, I have all three Santa Claus movies on my list because I love all three of them. I actually kind of like the third one the best because it has Jack Frost in it. And
yep.
Jack Frost, being the mischievous person he is, tries to screw up Christmas and take over the North Pole, and there's all that madness there.
And it's Martin Short.
And it's Martin Short. Yep. And that's actually a Disney film.
Yep.
Also on my list, you can't get through a Christmas holiday without watching National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, man, I completely forgot about that one.
Yeah.
You are correct.
You got to have that one scene with Randy Quaid standing out there in his robe, emptying his chemical toilet into the sewer, and it's just a nonstop hilarious movie. Let's see. I had a couple others. Now I can't think of. Oh, I'm sorry. Deck the Halls. I kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. That has Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito and Kristen Chenoweth and Kristen Davis in it. And basically it's neighbors. Danny DeVito moves in across the street with his wife, who's played by Kristen Chenoweth, and he decides he wants his house seen from space, so he decorates his house to the hilt, and it's so bright that the neighbors across the street, Matthew Broderick and Kristen Davis, pretty much can't sleep at night because it's the whole white trespass thing.
Yeah.
Matthew Broderick's character, Steve Finch, is a eye doctor, and he basically is Mr. Christmas for the town, and him and Danny DeVito basically get into it and try to decide who's going to be Mr. Christmas, basically. It's a very good movie if you haven't seen it. After that, I had my thoughts all organized and just, yeah. Anyway, and then the old version, 1947 version of Miracle on 34th Street. It's just a good old story about a little girl that believes in Santa and basically tries to bring this couple together. And I'm not saying the plot right, but it's just a good old movie. A lot of it's got Macy's in it, and actually I like both versions. I like the old version and the new version. And then there's one other one that's a movie called Love Actually that's not really it's not a kids movie, but it's a movie about a lot of different people's lives and what's going on with them basically at the Christmas holiday. And it's a really good comedy drama that came out in 2003. It is rated R, I will tell you that. But it has a lot of hilarious moments in it. It has Hugh Grant and let me just go down the list of who's in it. Hugh Grant, Liam Neeson. If my computer will scroll, I'll tell you the rest. Colin Firth, Emma Thompson.
Interesting.
There's a lot of different characters in this.
Yeah.
Keira Knightley's in it.
Oh, wow.
Bill Nighy is in it. He actually plays this old rocker. You think...
He's not Davy Jones?
Well, no, he's not. He plays Billy Mack, which is this old rocker, and basically they've talked him into taking one of his hit songs and turning it into a Christmas song. And at the end of the movie, his song wins the best Christmas song of the year. And he makes a bet with the one radio personality that if his song wins, he'll show up and play his song live on TV with no pants on, basically. But it's a funny movie. It's good. It's a good funny movie. And that's all I can think of at the moment.
Yeah, I can't...
Are there any Christmas movies that you really hate that you don't get why people love? Because when I was making my list, I definitely could think of some that I really don't like.
Oh, yeah? I don't know. See, I'm gonna shame myself here, probably, because I have not seen, and nor do I have an interest to see, either A, It's a Wonderful Life, or B, The White Christmas Movie. Number one, because while I respect Bing Crosby as a singer, and I like many of his songs, White Christmas is not one of my favorite Christmas songs at all. I don't like most of the traditional Christmas songs, so it's always a rift when I put on Christmas music at my house, because my wife is total traditionalist and loves all the crooner style, Nat King Cole, and everything else. Like I like the Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin stuff, but other than that, I kind of prefer a lot more of the instrumental, rockier versions of stuff, which probably should be a shock to nobody who listens to this or who knows me on any sort of level. So it's always like I have to make this ridiculous mix playlist that plays throughout the house of Christmas music. Or as of recently, I pretty much have a lot of the Disney parks and hotels background loops that I've gathered over the years, and pretty much play those nonstop going because they're nice and it's background music. It's nice to have. They don't have lyrics, so you don't have to worry about listening to the songs. But yeah, so I've never seen either one of those movies, and yeah, and I know to most people that's a sacrilege, I guess, because those are quintessential Christmas movies. But I just, doesn't do it for me. But I can't think of any that I dislike. I thought of another one that I've seen that I know is funny. Actually, two more. One is, I think Schwarzenegger was in it. It was called Jingle All the Way, and I believe that was a Disney movie. That was under the Disney umbrella. I hate. That's the one you hate? See, that stupid stuff is right up my alley, so I like that. And then another one, which I think is fantastic, and I'm sure more people don't like it than like it, is Bad Santa. I love that. That movie is freaking hysterical. It is wrong on every level possible, which is probably why I enjoy it so much. And they made a second one this year, which I have not seen yet. And I know Miss Melanie talked about, I don't know if when we were recording, but she had went and saw the Bad Moms Christmas movie, which is probably something that's right up my alley as well, but I have not seen that yet either. So, yeah, I like a little bit more of the distasteful, crazy nonsense comedy movies, other than the serious, down to earth.
Well, I have one other one I don't like, and it's not really a Christmas movie, but everybody associates it with Christmas. And don't get me wrong, I kind of like the movie, but I hate the fact that people associate it with Christmas, and that's Die Hard.
It takes place at a Christmas party.
I know.
The whole plot's at a Christmas party. It's Christmas decorations everywhere.
It's a stretch.
Well, we'll agree to disagree on that one. I was going to bring that up too, but I was like, I didn't feel like arguing. Yeah, it's not one of my favorite movies. I've seen it. I'll watch it kind of. It's on, I don't know if I consider it a Christmas movie either, but it's fun to argue about it with people especially now on social media. So, see, people get bent out of shape about it too. Like there's like people that are adamant and like, oh my God, it's definitely blah, blah, blah. And there's people on the other end that are like, no, it's not. So
that's almost like the people that argue about Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, it's the same thing, right? Yeah.
It's like, well, that is a Christmas movie.
Right.
It has Christmas in the title.
That's right. There was another one along the lines of Die Hard too. That's the same thing. Like it's like an action movie, but it kind of takes place around Christmas time, or there's like a glimpse of some sort of Christmas in it, and I can't think of it. I heard it or read about it a few days ago. People were arguing about the Die Hard thing, and I can't remember what it is now. But
well, I googled Christmas movies, and you wouldn't believe some of the stuff that comes up.
Could only
Trading
imagine.
Places comes up.
The Danny DeVito and that one? No.
With, Eddie Murphy.
Oh, Eddie Murphy. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I was
Dan
thinking something
Aykroyd.
else. Oh, that's right. Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Batman Returns.
Really? Batman Returns,
Yeah.
huh? Where the hell is there anything Christmas in that movie?
I don't know. That's the one with Cobblepot. That's the one with Penguin.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking
Christmas stuff in it or not.
I was thinking of the newer one. Yes, it does. I believe it does. I believe when he tries to whoever the guy is, the mayor or whatever, Christopher Walken, isn't it? That tries to bring him out in the public eye and get him to be.
That's right.
I think that when he comes up like out of the underworld, I believe it's during like some sort of Christmas party, or he comes out into the middle of New York with the Christmas tree out or something. If I'm remembering that one. Yeah, Copperpot. Yeah, Chester Copperpot. The penguin. I don't know. I can't think of any others that I really dislike. I'm sure there's a ton that I'm missing that I've probably seen or over the years and just don't. I'm trying to think of my collection of DVD stuff, like what I have. It's mostly cartoons and animated stuff, so except for the Santa Claus movies and the Grinch. Everything else is a cartoon of some sort.
Yeah.
I don't know. Which ones did you have, Jessica, that you didn't like, or you're just throwing it out there?
Well, there are really only two that I thought of, and one is Home Alone.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
The kid is so irritating. I'm really sorry, because I know that's one that everybody loves, but I don't like it either.
No, I don't like it either. I really don't. He was annoying.
Yeah. And the other one is the Polar Express, and the reason I hate it is because it's like the animation was weird, and I don't know, it seems impossible to make Tom Hanks creepy, but somehow they did it. And that was my favorite book as a kid. I even did a thing in New Hampshire when I was little where I rode the Polar Express to the North Pole to meet Santa.
Yep.
So it was a big deal to me, and then the movie came out, and I was just like, what is this? So...
Yeah, I watched that last week for the first time while I was down sick, and I'm like, what in the world is this?
I haven't seen it.
Because it's not the Polar Express I remember growing up.
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
It's hard to explain what is off about it. It's just off. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to explain.
From the commercials, I remember the animation striking me as odd, too. I've never seen it. I know the kids have seen it because they've watched it at school and stuff. And I remember doing, with my older two, before we had our third, up in Essex, Connecticut, there's a steam train museum and a whole train. And they do a Polar Express thing with Santa and Mrs. Claus on a train. And it's like an hour thing. And they do a story, and it's hot cocoa and marshmallows and stuff like that. I mean, that was pretty, and the kids come in their pajamas and everything, and
that sounds just like what I did.
Yeah, and you have to book it in like July because it fills up so fast. Because it's the only one like or anywhere near around where I live, at least that I know of.
Yeah, we got ours running again this year.
Yeah, nice.
For our museum here, but we're running it between my old hometown and Kokomo because they still won't let us run on the tracks here.
Oh, really? This is like on a private... I don't know where it is. I remember the last year we brought them, and they don't do it on the weekend, so it's like we had to drive up there, like, you know, leave work early and get up there for when it starts, because for me, it's a couple-hour drive, I think. It's a good hour and a half, hour 45, and you're on a school night, and, you know, then you're getting... It was rain. It was pouring rain. I'll never forget. So it was, you know, trying to not... get everybody all soaking wet, and then my parents had come with us too, I believe. So yeah, I mean, it was fun. I mean, once you're on it, it's great. But then it's like, oh crap, now I gotta drive home. You know, the kids are gonna fall asleep in the car, and so yeah, because they don't run it on the weekend, to my knowledge, for whatever reason. But I don't know what tracks they use up here. I never really researched it, but
yes, sir.
Either way, it was pretty cool. Yeah, and that's not a story I remember as a kid. Like, I don't remember. I'm sure my mother read it to us, but I just wasn't, like, when the Tom Hanks version came out, I was like, wow, Polar Express, oh, that's cool. Like, it didn't ring a bell for me. You know, no pun intended there. I do remember going to watch Christmas shows as a kid. I was lucky enough to go once to see the Radio City Rockettes through the company my father worked for forever. They had like a bus trip in on a weekend, I remember, for employees and their families at probably a reduced rate or something like that, because most of the company would go. So I remember doing that, but I was older. I was probably in high school when we had done that. And I remember not being impressed with it for some reason. Like, it just didn't. I was like, okay. And, you know, I don't know. That could be just me, because I've heard from most people that most people I know that have gone love it and they think it's great. I don't know. It just really just didn't do anything for me. You know, it was like, I think it's the Nutcracker storyline they follow vaguely. Like, I don't know if it's a new show. I don't know how often they change it. I mean, it was impressive, like the Rockettes, and that stuff was impressive, the music part of it, but I think the story was, I don't know, just didn't do it for me. What can I say? But there used to be two fellas, they had a singing, like, comedy duo. They were called the Gaylords. And it was Bert Holiday. That was his stage name. I can't think for the life. He was an Italian immigrant. I can't think of what his real name was. And then his partner's name was, and I should have researched this before. Anyway, his partner's name was Ron something or other. And he was an American fella. And they had a comedy routine that they would do, but then they would put on a Christmas show every year where they would have kids that sung. They did Christmas carols, and Bert would do, because he had an Italian accent, did a couple of songs that were parodies they were like Italian parodies of traditional Christmas songs. So the two most famous was he did the 12 Days of Christmas, where he basically went through a bunch of popular Italian foods, and that was what the 12 Days of thing was. But then there was funny gags in between, and then the other song is he does 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, where the reindeer are singing reindeer, and it's all names of Italian singers. So you had Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Perry Como, Vic Damone, all the old crooners from back in the day. So he had all, and it's just funny. I'm sure it's floating out there somewhere. It's called Christmas with the Gaylords, but they came around close to me a couple years and had the stage show as well. So I just remember going with my whole family, and this was also, I think I was in, because I was dating my wife, so this was like after high school. We would go see the show and then go out for a nice dinner, and it was always just something I remembered nice. So, but it's good. I mean, it's not the greatest quality of recording and stuff. It's kind of hard to listen through some of it, but for me, it's memory stuff, and it's fun. To me, it's funny being of Italian heritage and listening to the poke fun at themselves. Kind of, it was it's nothing bad. It's nothing, there's no cursing or anything like that, because it's all geared towards children. And there's a lot of traditional songs that they would sing as well too, but I just remember the comedy and the skits for that stuff always stuck out in my mind. It was something that I remember being pretty funny. So, not movie related, but it was a show, so I guess that was that. And then I guess they have your classics that are on, the Charlie Brown Christmas. I know there was other ones. I think there was a Scooby-Doo one over the years, and I think every other cartoon has had one at some point. I know there's a Tom and Jerry one that's floating out there now that's kind of horrible because it's newer animation.
Yeah, honestly, when I was thinking through this list, sometimes Saturday Night Live skits, Christmas skits, came to my mind as quickly as movies did.
Yes. Steve Martin had a bunch of good ones, I think. The
first one that came in my head was when Will Ferrell is singing "It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year" on the spinning thing. And he starts vomiting. Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, there is a bunch of good Saturday Night Live ones for sure. Yeah, I'm sure over the years, a lot of those late night shows have had their Christmas episodes and done probably some pretty good stuff, but as far as for just straight up movies, I think that's all we got. I think we covered most of the popular ones and some other ones for sure. So I'll throw this out there just as to see where it goes. How about music wise? So are you guys traditionalists, or go with the country stuff, or I know there's a bazillion versions of everything now. So what's like your go-to for Christmas music? Do you start listening to it like right after Halloween time or after Thanksgiving?
I think I don't really start listening to it until after Thanksgiving. And I have to say, most Christmas songs, the traditional ones, I find to be really depressing. So
yes,
especially because I grew up living in a place with a lot of snow, and now I live in California. So especially the ones that like White Christmas, and they're just depressing. So I don't listen to a ton of Christmas songs, but I really do like the Nat King Cole album because that's what my parents always played in our house.
Right.
And he just has an awesome voice.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't know. If I get in the mood for it, like when I'm putting up the decorations or something, I'll put some on. And of course, the Heat Miser and Coal Miser song.
Gotcha.
But it's not like on a constant loop during the Christmas season in my house.
Okay.
What about you, Milford?
Nah, same thing. I actually get mad when they start up the Sirius satellite radio channel before Thanksgiving. Because they've been starting that up like right after Halloween.
November 2nd.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, can we at least wait till Thanksgiving? So I like to listen to the old stuff. I like the Bing Crosby, the Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin. I like a lot of that older Christmas music. You're going to laugh. Even Lawrence Welk. Because I grew up with that stuff with my grandparents. So,
yeah, that's what my grandparents always listened to.
So
yeah.
I kind of like that stuff. I like some of the new stuff. So, I do have Big Bad Voodoo Daddy's last big Christmas album they did 2 or 3 years ago. I've got Brian Setzer's Christmas album he did a couple years ago.
Yep.
So, I like a lot of different kinds of music. So, but pretty much I don't start listening to it until Thanksgiving.
Okay. All right, so I'm the lunatic of the group. Yeah, I pretty much right after Halloween. It's usually a race between me and my uncle. And we mainly, I think, do it just to annoy my mother because she's the same. She loves it all, but she doesn't really start until after Thanksgiving. I mean, my father, because they do a big holiday party every year, they put their tree up and decorate the house the week before Thanksgiving just so it's done. Because they usually have their party the first weekend in December. So I don't decorate my house that early. The Christmas lights go up outside. As I take the Halloween stuff down, I put the lights up. I just don't plug them in usually until after Thanksgiving. This year, I think I did some of them, the ones that don't blink, I think right before Thanksgiving, because I just don't care. Music-wise, I run the gambit. I'm a audiophile, so I have quite a collection of Christmas music, ranging from all the classic stuffs to some insane, bizarro things that probably I'm the only one that enjoys listening to. But yeah, I do enjoy the classic ones. I just, if they're in a mix and a playlist and they're just kind of playing on rotation in a random order, I'm cool with them. I won't actively just put them on because pretty much as Jessica said, they're slower songs. They're just, to me, yeah, they're just depressing. And I know they're product of the times. And while I have respect for them and all those artists, it's just not my cup of tea sometimes. So I do like the Brian Setzer albums. He's got a couple of them, and as well as Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. There's quite a bit of instrumental surf style ones that I really, really like. Adventures have put one out. Lost Straitjackets. The Beach Boys album is really good. The Christmas album. There's one that Ronnie Spector put out with, Darlene Love and the Crystals and a couple other female groups from there. Those classic oldies ones that are always floating around. Johnny Maestro and the Brooklyn Bridge. I mean, there's Gene Autry and Rudolph and things like that. And then there's some heavier stuff that's out. Twisted Sister put out a Christmas album about 10 years ago now. I think 2007 it came out. Fantastic album. Say what you will about heavy music and everything else. It's a goddamn good album. If you like heavy music, you don't even have to like metal or any of that kind of stuff. It's basically, it's a rock Christmas album, but it's done really, really, really well, I think. And anybody I've kind of turned it on to has pretty much agreed. Even if you don't like that style of music, it's not over the top. There's not blazing solos and screaming up and down. It's a good album. It was really, really well done. I'm trying to think of anything else that's kind of, some of the country stuff I like, not too much of it. Some of the older stuff that I hear floating around on satellite radio, but other than that, and then like I said, the Disney, the background loops, I enjoy some of those just to throw them on, just to have music in the background. But I have them on going for about 2 months straight. I'm not listening to it every day, but from November through December, that's what the whole house audio is pretty much playing some sort of Christmas music at some point. And then usually I'll get a hankering for it in the middle of the summer, and Christmas in July for one day I'll, have Christmas music going on my iPod at work or something like that and get funny looks from the fellows in the shop, but what are you going to do? Some of it's good. Oh, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. That's the other stuff I like. That stuff's really, really good. But, like orchestra.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Mannheim Steamroller. Yeah. I like them as well.
And Mannheim too, yeah. That's what I grew up listening to because my mother always had that. That was the tree decorating music in my parents' house was Mannheim Steamroller, and then all like Jessica said, or the Nat King Coles and all of those would come on. But Mannheim Steamroller was the soundtrack that we decorated our tree to growing up. So yeah, that's a staple to it. I can't believe I forgot that. Yeah, people are either way with the music stuff. Either they're there's people that don't listen to it except for pretty much, the week before Christmas probably. But, to each his own. That's what makes everybody cool and everybody different. All right. I think with that, we're going to wrap this episode up. We won't keep everybody too long. So we're going to wish everybody happy holidays and a happy new year. Enjoy time with family, friends, however you celebrate, whatever you celebrate. As long as you're enjoying yourself and are together with people that you love and enjoying yourself, that's all that really matters. So from all of us to all of you, thank you for listening to our podcast for this full calendar year. We really appreciate it. We love the downloads. We love the interactions that we get. We'd love it if there was some more, in our Facebook group. We're definitely all kind of monitor it during the day. So, conversations are great. You want to talk about stuff you hear in the episode, stuff in the parks, questions. I mean, we're open to anything. We're all we all have families and kids and everything else. So even if it's questions that pertain to things like that, we'd love to hear from you. Well, thanks again for listening, and we will talk to everybody after New Year's. Follow our troupe at www.dizexplorers.com, where you can find all the links for all our hosts' social media accounts. You can also follow the podcast on our Facebook group at The Diz Explorers and on Twitter and Instagram at The Diz Explorers. You can download this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher Radio, and also on YouTube. Thanks for listening.
Christmas.